Hello all, I'm Dr.S.N.Zaware, Head Computer Engineering Department, AISSMS Institute of Information Technology, Pune. In this video, I'm going to discuss about Unified Process Model, which is used for the software development. The uniqueness of this model is it is extensively used for object-oriented software development, and it is incremental and iterative. So incremental model and iterative model I have already discussed in my previous videos. Now in unified process model we are using this incremental approach as well as iterative approach, but this unified process model is having its unique structure, and due to that it is well suitable for object oriented software development. It uses several iterative development. The software is deployed at the client side and the client feedback is obtained. Just in previous video of unified process model, the feedback is repeatedly considered. In the same way, the in unified process model is also considered the feedback just like a spiral model. So in a spiral model also we have discussed that it is in a loop and repetitive loop. So at the same time, but that requires the procedural structure of your software, whereas unified supports the object oriented features also. So if you can see this diagram, the development here in the unified process occurs over 4 phases. So first one is inception phase. Then inception is the combination of communication and planning. Then elaboration phase, which is planning and modeling. Then construction phase, and finally the transition. So transition requires both the part construction as well as deployment, and finally the product is released. So again, if you can see here, as I already told, that it is also a iterative software development model. It makes uses of all these phases. Only way how we are using that is considered in unified process. So inception phase occurs over many increments or iterations. That is inception phase means repeatedly there is the communication with the customer. In the elaboration also many iterations are there. Same thing in a construction and deployment, just like a different prototype which we have designed in previous models. So number of prototypes and then the final prototype is get designed. So in inception phase, communication with the customer is made and all the features are identified and also plan about the development process. During the elaboration, identified features are modeled, and finally in the construction phase the software is constructed and developed and deployed. Finally it is deployed. So these are the unified process phases. If we can see this two-dimensional chart or the process phase chart of the unified processes, we can understand how it is well suitable for object-oriented processes or object-oriented softwares. So unified phases are there, and these are the workflow, then requirement, analysis, design, implementation, test and support. So y-axis is completely like a software development phases. Now that software development phases and unified process phases, that is inception, elaboration, construction, transition and production. So if you can see this first requirement phase of a software development, iteratively we are using this, and the life of requirement phase is up to the middle of the construction of a software. So in between, whenever there is an inception, that communication is going on. So all the phases like requirement gathering, requirement analysis and all this, that comes in these 3 phases, that is inception, elaboration and construction phase. Now whatever the things which we have gathered from the customer, based on that the analysis will be done by considering this. After inception, at the end of the inception phase, the analysis part will start, because till then most of the requirements are gathered, and then thinking of that requirement and what we can say analyzing that requirement by risk point of view, all this. So if you can see this requirement analysis requirement phase and analysis phase of software development, and inception and elaboration phase of unified process combiningly, or we can say parallelly, they can work. So because of this nature of the parallel, so different features, if any software is developed by making use of an object oriented feature, so that are at the from the start they are going to consider these features. Then design phase, so again design is parallelly start at the end of the inception, because inception means up at the end of the inception almost what exactly we are going to develop, that is final, only their analysis part is going on, and parallelly the thinking on designing part of that it started. So at the end of a construction, the whole construction of that project is completed, and then the transition phase started. So transition phase is again along with the implementation and transition. Then production phase, so testing will be the important parameter as far as the product is produced, product is ready to launch or ready to deploy. And finally the support system is after product is deployed and production is continuously in a process, then support system is required. So in this way, this is very much vast process, repetitive and vast process, but it ensures the quality and it supports the latest development. So advantages, it is easier to control the risk as high risk tasks are completed first, because there the priorities are decided. Then problems and risk defined within one iteration can be prevented in the next sprint. Disadvantages, the process is difficult to manage because it's a very vast to manage, it's very vast. Then it is not used for the small project. Thank you.